Hello, my name's Luke Williams. I'm a technical trainer at Poly and I work from home. In this video, we're going to give a few quick tips to help you and your students prepare for live streaming a lesson. The first tip is to practice. Live streaming a lesson can be demanding at first, so consider practice sessions with colleagues to fully acclimatise yourself to the remote teaching environment. Additionally, you may feel more comfortable starting off with other remote teaching methods. For example, you could pre-record a lesson or a lecture, then post it for students to view, along with an assignment related to that lecture. You can then later schedule a video call for yourself and your students to discuss the contents of the lecture and the tasks contained in the assignment. You could also consider sending and receiving assignments via email at first if you're not initially comfortable with live streaming a lesson. But if you do feel confident to try live streaming a lesson, here are some tips to keep in mind. Firstly, let's talk about some things you can do to help your students prepare. For example, you should let your students know beforehand if they will need to download or install any software or any information or documents required for the lesson. Remember, students may need time to download and configure video conferencing software and may need assistance in order to do so. When planning your lessons, remember to schedule in breaks just as you would in a face-to-face teaching environment. This will allow students to take comfort breaks, give them space to discuss the lesson, or even to socialise somewhat, just as they would in a face-to-face classroom. And remember that it can be challenging to maintain focus on long video calls, so consider making the length of your live stream lessons shorter than you would if it was a face-to-face lesson. There are also a few quick things you can do before the lesson to make sure that your audio and video equipment is working properly. For example, consider recording a short clip of yourself and then watching it back to ensure that your audio and your video settings are correct. Additionally, many video conference applications have a self-view mode that will show you exactly what your camera is seeing. This can be useful for checking framing so that you can ensure that any teaching aids, such as a whiteboard or other objects you need, are actually in shot and visible to the students during the call. This will also help you ensure that anything that you do not wish to be in frame isn't in frame, and that can be very useful, especially if you're teaching from your home environment. If possible, make sure that any devices you're using for the video live stream are connected to your network via an Ethernet cable rather than over the Wi-Fi. This is because an Ethernet cable is usually a much more reliable connection and so reduces the chances of any network problems interrupting the lesson. And if possible, use a headset and microphone to capture your audio. A headset with active noise cancelling is best, but any headset is usually better than none. This is because a headset makes it easier for you to hear what your students are saying and makes it easier for your students to hear you. Additionally, a headset with active noise cancellation will do an even better job at cutting out background noise and chatter, thus increasing your audio clarity for your students even more. If you're interested in more tips specifically related to getting better audio and video out of live streaming a lesson, check out the series of videos by Poly director Nick Rosser. He's got a great series of videos giving quick tips that will radically increase the audio and the video experience of your live streamed lessons. Check them out in the description below. And if you're interested in more remote educating tips, check out my other videos in this series. Thank you for watching.